What if an average day for you was waking up with cuts and bruises all over your body from something otherworldly like this? Well, this is exactly what's happening to Lexi and her family right now, and it all started after Lexi's ex-best friend passed away. Now, Lexi's ex-best friend had a love interest in her, and this was not reciprocated. And because of this, we'll call him Jared. Jared would go on a tailspin of chaotic behavior and abusive behavior towards her. Jared's last words to Lexi, well, no one will ever love you like I do, and he would live up to this promise, especially after he passed away. After this, every single person that Lexi dated would end up in a mental institution. But that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part is that he had a serpent tattoo on his body. And this is crucial for you to remember because it plays a huge part in Lexi's suffering and the instances that I'm about to talk to you about. Some odd years after Jared passed away, Lexi would meet Tristan and they would fall in love, and then they would run a business together. It was a bar. One day, Lexi and Tristan decide that they want to go to the Zach Bagans Museum. Now, this was just out of a whim, so they went to Vegas and they visited the museum. Little did they know that this would be one of the worst decisions they have ever made. Immediately after walking into the museum, Lexi's ankles start to itch, and she tells Tristan this, and Tristan is like, well, maybe it's just an allergic reaction, maybe it's just your ankles just itch. And so they kind of brush it off because what else are they gonna do? Now, the first room that they go into, the tour guide asks, does anyone have $1? And Lexi never carried cash on her, but in this instance, she just happened to have $1 sticking out of her purse. So she says, I do, and she hands it to the tour guide. So then the tour guide takes that dollar and she puts it into this fortune telling machine. She sticks it in and a card pops out. And out on the card was a picture of the devil, and it said, beware of the stairs. So they're like, okay, maybe this is just like part of the show, right? So they go into the next room, and the next room is the Charles Manson room. And in this room are like drawings that he had done in prison, which they didn't know that he had done that. So they thought this was really interesting, and there were other things in there from him. So it was just a whole room filled with stuff about Charles Manson. Lexi kind of zones out in this room, and she's standing in front of one of the pictures, and she's talking to Tristan, and she's like, babe, this is really interesting. Like, I didn't know that he did all of this stuff. When the next thing she knows, Tristan walks over to her and says, hey, babe, are you coming? And she looks at him and she's like, wait, where did you come from? And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I was just talking to you. You were just standing right behind me. And he was like, no, I wasn't. And she's like, yes, you were. I was just talking to you. It wasn't him. So the next room that they go into is called the Devil's Staircase. Funny enough, they get into that room and there's a spirit box in there, and the spirit box just starts spitting out words randomly, but not until Lexi walks in. And as soon as she walked in, the spirit box starts saying, bitch, die, die, bitch, yellow dress, bitch. Now, mind you, she was wearing an orange dress, and she was the only woman in the room wearing a dress at all. So this really freaked her, Tristan out, and